50 winners gathered to fill the medal. Today is the day. The first time the country was in a state of emergency. The country was in a state of emergency. The 50th win team in the league is single. The registration period continues to be dynamic in March. The next 42 minutes and 12 seconds of the attack were effective. Ayton faces discrimination in the country. The first is the torques. The first is that the average person is not a good person. The Lara is well-rounded but not required to be pushed. The first was a vote of 100 to 14. The end of 3G is suddenly getting bigger and stronger. 3G is a problem that has been solved by 1-1. The goal is to hit the postseason. They look like they're real now. The team competes for the championship. Ayton has proven his value in high-end jobs. The registration period is also hitting the full impact on the MWP. So what is the power of the moment? The first is the registration period. The newest member of the MWP is a young man who has been working in the field of social work. The team is not a weak team. In fact, the long-term top 4 in the East District. The first is the hidden. They are being watched by many fans. The first is the East Region Championship. The first time I saw a woman in the hospital, I was in a coma. The contest is the main private sector of the outdoor twin gun and the twin towers inside. The world is not going to be able to fight. However, the first is the Megami Ear and Harden, the strongest backfield in the East. The first is the storm of the world. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. This is the idea. The first is the tagger and the second is the tagger. Haddon also points to 17 powders. The reaction was sudden. The last time the military was in the country was in the middle of a war. The first is the hand knot. The third link ends at 15. Ayton blasts the racist twin towers. 6 offensive boards were fired. What is the next step? The people were saved. The story of the Houthis rule and expression. Opening of the day. The East District has blocked the demolition of Ayton. The people of the region have been forced to leave the lake and have been forced to leave the lake. The team was not able to get a clearer picture of the building, but instead allowed the team to clear the building once and to test the demolition. The benefits of this are: the East region is on the brink of breaking down. The first is that the government is not going to be able to protect itself from any kind of cooperation or fake machine. This is true. Ayton, who has been defended. The East side is not bad for the prospects. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. The next ball, they repeated the same attack. This is the only time. The East region has not chosen the title. I'm not going to say anything. The next round, he was not allowed to leave the country. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure. The East zone is starting badly. The pace is very good, but the controls are very good. The East region has opened its hands. The first is the production of machines by a third of the League One. Look at this ball. In fact, if you don't take precautions, the same goes for the Eastern region. The opportunity to train a headmaster. Struth, however, is not. The first is the Autonic color. The East region is a third-class runner-up. Look at this ball again. The rest of the world is not going to be able to use the toilet. The report also shows that the number of people living in the country is increasing. The first is the Buddy line. The East zone withdraws 3 points. The earthquake was strong and killed. The ball is a little slippery below. The forest appears to have been built by the East zone. I'm not a fan of the movie. The first is the east end of the city. The only thing that I did was make a slight fake move with the ball. The water is a 3-step walk from the water. The first time I saw a man in the car, I was in a coma. The East zone is now in the interior. The first is that the government has not been able to keep up with the demands of the people. The 2 men were also accused of lying to each other. The last trick was to kill the man. The last ball is the ball. The first is the stop the fight. The East District of the Haiju River is approaching its end. The first is the bull. A play in the East end. The fireworks are lit today. Except for the Eastern District. The second project, which is suddenly called for today, was started by Ayton. The first time the group had been attacked by a group of terrorists. The group had been attacked by a group of terrorists. The 2 sides have jointly ruled the inland line. And don't forget about it. Today, he faces a fence that has been torn down. He opened the door and finished the cloth on Ayton's head. The first is the lightning of the people of Laos. Under the hood with music and ball. The next ball. The group's support for the project has been steadily growing. Lee Fox, O'Brien, blocked the demolition. O'Brien jumped right after the ball. The government has also been trying to force the Orbals to defend themselves. But the real problem with O'Brien is not that he is a publicist. The first time I saw a man in the street, I was in a car accident. The attackers were able to water their hands. The next ball was also from LeBron's offensive. 4 people suddenly came out of the line of battle. Ayton's true story of a single-handed goal line. LeBron caught more air than he wanted in Ayton. The first time I saw a woman in the back of my head, I was so excited. Look at this ball again. The writer does not change rooms. Ayton was forced to delay the Eastern Zone offensive. The first time the group had a meeting, it was in the middle of the night. Relax and wear clothes. Ayton's cake party is still going on. The ball is also the Ayton Supplemental Housing District. The first time I saw a video of the video was in the video. This is the ball. East Zone direct flights. The first is the bull and the second is the bull. This is the charm of playing in the top flight. What is the need for Ayton? The first is to get a cake. He is only trying to seize the vacant positions. The country is a major trading partner in the world. Ayton's performance was perfect. Maybe we can call him me after Benson and Duran. The other one in the Twin Towers is actually credible. After winning the contest, the country has been a source of pride and anger for the people of the country. First of all, Duran. He is the only player in NBA history to have won the NBA title. The most successful players in the postseason. The biggest link is the name of the country. The second is the Eastern period. He is the biggest photographer today. The game is 42 points. His career total has surpassed 15,000 points. The first time the country has ever had a nuclear power plant, it has been the youngest in history to have a nuclear power plant. This is his 8th season. The NBA will add another 30,000 points to the team's future. In addition, the total of 15 games today, the first in history. The first day of the week, was a huge day. The game is free to play. This is not over. The results of the March Eastern Conference. The number of people who have been killed is 600. Beyond Kobe, the first month of January in history. The young player is a great player. The only charges are 3. Another honor. The team is named after the former head coach, Redick. He was a member of the Fair-Dickerson family. The story of the first 2 seasons of the series is told in the first person. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this. Before he took office, the world is questioning him. The support is great. But now, he showed his ability to the outside world. The future of the country. The problem is that the people who are not happy are overly happy with the relationship. But it's not easy to build. I'm going to say goodbye. He is at a critical moment. The game is a game of chance. The season is coming to an end. The power of the moment. The report also highlights the importance of the season is over. The following are some of the advances. The first is the most important defense issue. The season is over. They are defending themselves. The change is almost complete. The report was published in the journal Nature. The reason for the sudden defense against upgrades. The players are very active. The ability of Smart to see through the eyes. Ayton's ability to frame lakes. The team is not alone. The first is the consultation of the people. The number of people who have died is rising. They are no longer a defensive unit. The second-level defense force is the most powerful in the country. The next issue is the distribution of the ball rights. We all know, a team is not good. The sacrifice. His current role, the third goal is the goal. But many fans. The film is about a young man named Lee Vance. The report also highlights the importance of the EU's efforts to reduce poverty. In fact, Lee Vance is also clearly in the air. The situation is not so bad. The team's offensive was punched. The whole thing is delivered to the east. He only started in the east. When I was in trouble. The first is the stop the fire. The game of baseball is not meant to be average. The east end. The score is more stable than the previous one. He also needs more than enough punches. The idea of a family. The third point is that Ayton has too many problems. He is the list of the fool's lovers. When he was attacked by the news, he is a hard-working football player. He said, "I'm not going to say anything about the situation. The Chinese government has not yet announced the release of the new government." This is the importance of Ayton. He was angry for a while, but now, he and the team are on a complete line. He wants to run after the plane. Ayton is a very important child. Last year, they lost the internet. This year, we need Ayton to help them get online. He is a solar balloon and he is a solar balloon. The first is the final match of the tournament. The last point is, Roddick could. Maybe it is really a. The game is a great way to get the most out of football. I remember the magic before. 2 key moments in a row. What is the ATO strategy? Roddick could. The decision to make. The first is the battle of the sexes. It's worth the effort. The game is a great success. The key moment is the winning rate. The first of the 2 alliances. The main players. How to play the key ball. The main electricity is playing. The same can be said for the new. The Lakers are only on the offensive. The city is also a major tourist destination for tourists. But now the lake is. Attack on the house. Running for the blend. If you want to get a review, now it's just the power of the Lakers. They will not tell them. The team is already in the top 5 in the league. East-West is the current star. This is a game. The year he earned many honors. The Army commander received 33.8 points. The second-placed Arty Mountains lead by 2.2 points. Unless the latter comes next. Usually 50 people. If you don't, this is King Defend. The first is that the world is full of things. I'm not sure. He was chosen as the best. The government has not yet taken action. The current situation. East-West Group. The Alps. Organic Assembly. The Bamboo Horse and Brown. The 5 names that are likely to be included in a list. The only concern is, the video was posted on Facebook on Monday. It's a collection of things. How to compete for P. The newly released security media P is being bundled. He is 4th in the ranking. It seems to be a prize winning. The first is that the country is not a country. The next step is 2 matches against Retin. I'm not going to say anything. The first is the battle of the sexes. The third round of talks is still underway. He is not a big fan of the show. The contestants of East-West, the 2 are actually the Bengal Horse and the Arty Mountains. If you come back, the first is that the government is not going to take action. The first is the Battle of Aryan Mountain. The Fool's War Skills. The first is the Together. The number of people who are in the country is increasing. Objectively speaking, what is the meaning of the word religion? They are the best in the world in terms of fighting skills. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. The first was a photo of the house. This is clearly a result of the Toshiba. The media is a speculative guide to the future of the country. The award for the visually impaired. The first is that the Chinese government is not a political party. The British horse is the opposite of the bamboo horse. The first is the buddy. More aggressive attacks. The first is the fire. He's been wearing a defense suit. I'm not sure what to say about this. The bamboo horse. The first is the fact that the government is not a party to the referendum. But the basic data of the Toshiba collection. It's right here. Long thinks 33.8 points. The first is the 7.8 version 8.3 attack. The impact of the attack. The same thing happened to the Banjian horse. Of course, this is a good idea. This is a preview of what was said earlier. The next 2 were to kill a boat as a prerequisite. I'm not sure. The East-West capital. Maybe they didn't want to be in the ANMP competition. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. He just smiled and said, "I did well. We've been winning too." He doesn't seem to have a Bengali horse. This is a very extreme thing. The media is not the same as the media. He wants to get FMWP. So what do you think? Can't the East-West group get the security media P on this plane?